Okay, I'm making this video because my sister is terrified of doing anything electrical in terms of home renovations. And I find the most effective and simplest way to change the feel of a room or to make it look updated, especially bathrooms and kitchens and living rooms, is to update your lighting. And there's so many cheap, and I kind of use that literally, cheap fixtures at Home Depot or Lowe's that you can buy that are really easy to install. So I'm going to go through step by step because I want you to change your fixtures and don't be afraid of the electricity. Okay, this is the light outside that I want to change. And this is the light that I've chosen to change it to. These are the typical things that I use when I do any electrical stuff. My handy dandy wire cutters and strippers. My Makita electrical tape. This is my voltage meter reader to see if there's a current coming out. I'll show you how to do that. Crimpers, wire cutters, flathead, and a Phillips screwdriver. What you don't maybe know is that most of these come with 3 wires. This copper one is the ground wire. Black one is what we call the hot wire. That's what's getting the electricity from the electrical panel. And this is the neutral that closes the circuit through to the light bulb and then back out to the rest of the house. So this will be connected to your black, this will be connected to your white when we get up there, and this will be ground to something, hopefully a ground wire, or to the plate. The plate that came with this unit, the mounting plate, has a ground wire screw right there, so I will show you how to do that. So just by turning off the switch to the light, it stops the power from going to that light, but if you really want to be careful, then switch the power off from your main breaker panel. I don't know which one is the outside light, so I'm just going to switch it off on the main. Then I'm going to remove the old light. Of course, I recommend taking the bulbs out of these light fixtures, because if it drops, then it'll break. Alright, this is what this looks like, the inside here. It ain't pretty, and it looks kind of scary. But we take our handy dandy voltmeter, press the button, that means it's live, and you start just mainly looking at the black, and if it was live, it would go dee 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 dee. So I'm going to show you that actually. So here we are, the power on, circuit breaker on, the light switch on, and that's when you don't want to be touching those wires. Turn that switch off. Test it again. Nada, nothing. But just to be safe, because there might be stray electricity somewhere else, I am going to turn it off at the main as well. Okay, so we want to get these wires out of there to free them from these super easy. Just take them off. They screw. Believe it or not, they screw. Black to black. And this is the last one holding the light. So there is no ground wire on this. So I need 2 hands so this doesn't fall down. Garbage! Good riddance. Okay, next thing is to put this plate on. It's the mounting bracket, a mounting plate for the fixture, but typical Home Depot, there's only one mounting screw, so I'm going to have to get another screw. These are then what mount the light fixture to this. Some light fixtures, when you're replacing them, they already have one of those up there, so if it fits yours, then use it again. This one didn't, so we're going to have to use this one. If it doesn't fit, and there's one there already, then remove that old one and put the new one up. Okay, so for this one you actually have to mount the fixture screws onto the mounting bracket before you hang it up, and you have to find those holes that match perfectly with the holes there, and then you just screw them in as far as they are flush to the outside casing, so that it's then flush to the wall. Then now this is ready to go on. Do not lose these little knobby things at the end, because they're going to be very hard to replace, but I would recommend keeping them on now. So let's mount this. Alright, so this is total BS in that the electrical box, this thing in there, is like from 1993, and this is not the hole that I would use for this light fixture. Would be here, and it doesn't fit. So I'm going to try to put it just here, but I think then it'll be too long and it won't be solid. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about actually wiring the electricity. So let's continue with that. Okay, so sometimes these, they don't give you enough wire to twist onto the wires. There's this kid in the background. He's talking to his dad. He's talking louder than me. So you sometimes want them longer, so I'm going to show you how to cut that. Okay, you take that and you find the hole that fits it. You want to cut it without cutting through. It basically just cuts the wire, and then you pull on it. See, you made a little notch, and then pull off the rest. This one was kind of crimped, so it's harder to pull off. I would have just started from scratch, which I'm going to do in the next one. Okay, I'm going to start from scratch in the next one. About that much. If it didn't go all the way through, cut it on the other side. To the edge. That kid. So you bring the light fixture up with you to the mounting bracket, and to secure it, first connect the ground wire to the ground screw. And then it just hangs there on its own weight while you work on the other wires. Next, just twist this around. Make it all nice and neat. Okay, then you find your black and you put it on the black. You just twist it around. See? And you put screw on and you twist that on until you feel resistance. And do the same on the neutral white. Alright, once they're all connected, I always add this electrical tape, especially because it's outside, so no water gets in there, but the heat in Las Vegas will probably make it really melty. Before stuffing them in, I always like to put a light bulb in there, turn the electricity on to see if it worked, and then start fiddling with actually mounting it again. Well, it works. Okay, bend and tuck the wires inside. Usually having them face opposite, so the circuits aren't touching each other if there is any kind of stray electricity. So both caps, neutrals farther away from the other. And then when we lift this back up, we'll just shove everything else in. Let me see if these little things match up with the holes. Well, that doesn't work. One side is pretty solid, but look, this side hangs out and I can't make it tighter. So I'm probably going to put a washer on the other side, or try to force it through that bracket hole. So I made it work, but because this is such amazing craftsmanship from Lowe's, the holes on the bracket were 3 inches apart, and the holes on this mounting thing were 2 3/4. So there's no way they would have fit. So I ended up using one of the other slidey holes, and I found a screw that was the same size that was able to accommodate this, but shorter. So I made it work. Now I'm wondering about this top here. This is what they gave us, these 2 pieces. I guess that one goes like that. And this one fits on that screw. I'm also going to add a little bit of caulking back here so that any water that splashes up on the wall doesn't go back behind here. And ta-da! Here it is, finished. Nice LED light in there. And I have the matching one as a pendant to go here. But I might be running out of daylight to do this one. Okay, this is why you silicone your exterior light fixtures as best as you can. Look at all these cobwebs in here and other little bibits. So, we just did that light that had the single black and single neutrals coming from the light box, and your fixture will have one white and one black, so that might get you confused. Now these, because they have the old light fixture, they've already been twisted together, and so you're just going to put your one white twisted onto your 2 whites, and your one black twisted onto your 2 blacks. These are like this because this exterior light is paired with the exterior light that we just changed, and they're on the same light switch. So it comes from the light switch into here and then gives power to this light, and then it bounces off and then goes out and over to the other one. That's why you see 2 like that. So that's kind of really basic, but I'm going to change this one, and good luck with your project. Well, I hope that made it less scary for you the next time you want to change your ugly, broken, old light fixtures for something new and fresh, because it's really not that hard. If you have good quality products, then it's more straightforward. But otherwise, the wiring, super easy. Just make sure you turn off your breaker box or turn off the light switch, and that you have one of those voltage readers to see if there's any electricity going through the wires. Good luck!